And more on our big story, conservative author Dinesh D'Souza, and joining us a man who's never shy about saying what he thinks, comedian and author Penn Jillette. So Penn, you've been listening out the back there.
Yeah.
Any initial thoughts?
It's rather troubling to me to agree with you on everything. I didn't really know what to do. I was sitting back there going, Piers is right on everything. I think the basic thing that troubles me so much is that everyone who's running for president and vice president, they are good people that don't have hidden agendas. They have differences of opinion. And to my taste, not enough differences of opinion. They're too similar to me. But the idea that Obama, who I don't agree with on all sorts of things, would ruin the country, or that he has an agenda to bring America down in the eyes of the world, does seem, I think the term is bug nutty.
Yeah, I mean, look, this comes to another point of yours, Dinesh, because you say here, Obama wants to put Americans more in debt. Americans will have to endure the unfamiliar sight of Chinese, Brazilian, and Indian visitors occupying the best tables in the best American restaurants. I mean, apart from the fact that why shouldn't they?
Well, yeah.
This concept, Dinesh, that Obama wants to put Americans more into debt. Why on earth would any American president actively want to put his citizens into more debt?
Because if American citizens and if our children and grandchildren are saddled with more debt, at some point they're going to have to pay that money back. A good deal of our debt is held by Kuwaitis and by Saudis and by Chinese, so debt becomes a way of settling America's global colonial debts in Obama's mind. Now let me say a word here. Obama has added $5 trillion to the national debt. The highest deficit by Bush, who was a big spender, by the way, was $500 billion. The lowest Obama deficit is $1 trillion. There's no doubt that if there wasn't a Republican Congress, Obama would have spent even more. Now imagine if he gets a second term, adds $5 more trillion to the national debt. America will be $20 trillion in debt, $10 trillion of that added by one man. So from George Washington...
You're chomping at the bit here, get it?
You sound like you have a conspiracy to bring America down. And of all the things you can say about Obama, that's just not true. And I'm not an Obama supporter, but what you're saying is insane and wrong.
Well, you're attacking a complete straw man. We actually know that Obama has a hidden agenda. Obama leans over to the Russian President Medvedev, taps him on the thigh, and says, listen, Mr. Medvedev, I want to give you certain things about missile defense, but I need flexibility. You got to wait till after the election, because Obama's admitting that if I told the American people now what I wanted to do, they may not vote for me. Yeah. So wait till after the election and then we can do business. So we know he has the hidden agenda. We just don't know fully what that is.
There's no doubt that that was a moment for those of us who don't like to be cynical, that we had a lot of dancing to do on that. That was a horrible moment, and that was an agenda different than he's telling the American people. You're just right on that.
Dinesh, here's the point, Dinesh. You obviously, you're a smart guy, and you've got a lot of opinions. It's the way that you are trying, this is the point that Penn raised, which I agree with. It's not so much that we don't think you can criticize President Obama. Of course you can, on many areas. It's the fact that you believe there is underpinning all these things, Israel, Britain, debt, etc., America's decline. There is a sort of craven lust by President Obama to want to do all these terrible things, when of course that can't be the case.
Well, all I'm saying is this. I'm offering a theory to explain Obama's behavior. I'm saying Obama, at his heart, is an anti-colonialist who believes that American superiority is bad for the world. He believes that America is a dominant power that projects its power badly in the world. What Obama would like to do is pull back America's footprint in the world, because he thinks we've been stepping on the world. So I'm not saying that he's an evil guy. I'm simply saying...
Hang on, Dinesh. Let me jump in there. There is another way of looking at this, which is that actually a lot of the damage to America's reputation as a superpower had been done in the previous 8 years in the way that America responded to 9/11 by going into what many viewed as an illegal war in Iraq, with all the fallout that occurred there, then going to Afghanistan, committing hundreds of thousands of troops, American troops at vast expense, which also drained the economy, when there were many other ways that you can go after bad guys in this world, as we saw with Gaddafi, when no American troops were committed and he got taken out, and there was a totally different game plan. Obama, perhaps, should be credited with actually not wanting to just stamp around the world behaving like some sort of imperialistic bully. Because that's how some people outside of America, and some here, have viewed what happened in places like Iran.
Well, the problem is this, and that is in Libya, Obama used force, claiming that he was preventing genocide. Now, how many people had Gaddafi killed at that point? About 250. Meanwhile, in Syria, over many, many months, tens of thousands of people are killed by...
Well, wait a minute.
What?
I'm not going to get away with that. You think Colonel Gaddafi has only killed, before he was killed himself, he only killed 250 Libyans?
He only killed 250 Libyans before Obama initiated the use of force, yes.
What? Hang on. What do you mean in totality?
No.
He operated a 40-year despotic regime. He killed tens of thousands of Libyans.
There was a revolt that began out of Benghazi, and Obama said, look, Gaddafi's been in power for decades, and in fact the United States was doing business with Gaddafi. Remember, he was outing terrorists, he was paying reparations for the Lockerbie bomber, he was actually doing business with America, he had been somewhat behaving himself
if you remember,
since
though,
9/11.
If you remember, he was about to commit a massacre of epic proportions.
I'm saying in Syria there has been a massacre.
Wait a minute.
In Syria there has been a much greater massacre, and Obama has absolutely refused to use military force.
I agree with you.
How do you explain the double standard?
I'm just about to come to Syria, but let me explain about Libya first. He prevented, many people believe, a terrible massacre occurring. And surely the job of responsible presidents of countries like the United States is to prevent, not to wait for them to happen and then react. Isn't it better to get in first? In Syria, I agree with you. I agree with you.
I have a larger concern.
The international community has been far too slow.
I have a larger concern, and that is that there are three important countries in the Middle East. There's Iran, there's Egypt, and there's Saudi Arabia. Now, Iran has been in the hands of the radical Muslims since 1979. Now we are seeing Egypt move into the radical Islamic orbit. And what's left? Saudi Arabia. Now, can you imagine if in the second Obama term, Saudi Arabia were to fall? The radical Muslims would come so much closer to their dream, which they've now had for 100 years, to bring all of the Middle East...
let me go to... Let me bring you in there, because actually, in between some of these crazy statements...
What's crazy about them? Half of it's already happened.
No.
Some of your statements, Dinesh, do sound completely barking mad, but others have credence to them. A lot of what you just said about Egypt and about Saudi has some merit to it.
And from my point of view, I mean, he's accusing Obama as being anti-colonialist, which I think is a good idea. I don't think we should be doing as much overseas as we are. I know that you can talk about how many lives were saved, but having America guess at who the winners and losers are overseas, and getting all these entangling alliances, I would like to see us doing much, much less.
And here's a point you might agree with me.
I disagree a little bit. I think we can wait. I think we can wait until damage is done and not have to predict everything, and certainly not be overseas nation building when our own country needs that.
I'm going to say, Dinesh, even though I don't agree with half of what you say, I rather enjoy the way you say it, so please come back again soon.
I would love to.
Thanks to see you again.
Ben, always a pleasure. Come back.